So, I'm 8 years old in the schoolyard, playing on the jungle gym, and I see these two girls. And I don't know them, they're older than me, but they're looking at me and one of them points at me and they're whispering, and I'm pretty sure that they're talking about me. So they both come over, and the taller one says, "What happened to your face?" And the shorter one says, "Yeah, it looks like you got hit in the face with a frying pan." In the days and months after I was born, doctors noticed that there were a few differences about me. I had a cleft palate, which means that there's a hole joining the roof of my mouth to my nose. I had horrible eyesight and pretty bad hearing, so I had really thick glasses and hearing aids. I had a smaller jaw with crooked teeth, so I had braces. And I didn't really have a bridge in my nose, so it was kind of flat and upturned. And through the years, I had several corrective surgeries that repaired the cleft palate and built up my nose. And when I was young, I didn't really notice. It wasn't really a big deal. But as I got older, the thing that happened in the schoolyard started happening more and more. And every time that someone would be whispering or pointing, I just automatically assumed that it was about me. And I never really knew why, like, all of these things were wrong with me. They were just things, but like I said, it just became more and more of a problem as I got older. And one night, a few weeks after the incident in the schoolyard, I was in my room and my parents had just finished reading me a story. And they were sitting on my bed, and I built up the courage and said, "Why do I look so different from you guys? Why am I so ugly?" And they were totally shocked, and I don't think they expected me to ask that. And my mom said, "You're beautiful just the way you are, and we love you so much." And my dad was talking about all these talents that I had. He said, "You're an amazing runner and triple jumper and singer, and you're so good at so many things." And as we're talking, I feel this comfort because I know that they love me. And they were just the most wonderful parents, and they still are. But I also felt like, you guys don't get it. Of course you think that. You're my parents. And I just know that the rest of the world does not feel the same way that they do. So as I got older, I wanted to be a singer and an actor, but I didn't see any singers or actors that looked like me. They were always beautiful, with conventional looks, and I was ugly. I was embarrassed, and I wasn't cool, I wasn't interesting. And there was this constant ping in my brain with every interaction I had with kids in the schoolyard, or with teachers, or with kids' parents. I knew that they were thinking, "You're ugly, Laura. You're ugly." And I felt shame. It wasn't like I didn't have any friends, because I always had a few close ones. But deep down, I knew that I was ugly. And I felt like I was under this weighted blanket and knew that I wasn't worthy of people loving me. And I felt lonely. But I just kept that inside, and I just pretended that everything was okay. But when I graduated high school, I went to university. And instead of studying music or drama like I wanted to, I went into science. Because I didn't feel like singing or acting was something that I could do because I was ugly. But my first year was actually kind of amazing. People were so different here, and I made a lot of friends pretty quickly. And after a while, I actually started dating, and I started to understand that to some people, and not just my family, I was actually beautiful. And then I met Graydon, and he was a musician, and he started encouraging me and taught me how to play guitar, and even got me on stage playing open mics with him. And I started to feel like maybe this music thing was something that I could do. And we stayed together after university, and we got married and knew that we wanted to have a family. So eventually, when we were ready, we got pregnant, and we were thrilled. So one afternoon, about 12 weeks into my pregnancy, I'm in the car, and I'm listening to the radio, and I'm listening to this woman being interviewed on the CBC, and she's describing all these medical challenges that she has. So she's talking about a cleft palate, bad vision, hearing, braces, a small nose. And she says she has something called Stickler syndrome. And I'd never heard of this before. And all of a sudden it hits me. I have that. Ah. So I started doing some research and ended up going to Mount Sinai, and I met with a genetics counselor. And after some testing, they said, yes, it looks like you have this syndrome. And I felt so much relief that this is a thing, and all of these different things that happen to me, there's actually a reason for it. And that is kind of amazing. But then they tell me that it's an autosomal dominant condition, and there's a 50-50 chance of me passing it on to my baby. And I feel this incredibly dark and heavy feeling throughout my whole body, and I just don't know what to do. And I knew that I would love this baby no matter what they look like, but I didn't want them to go through what I went through, and I didn't want them to feel limited the way that I felt limited. So when I was in the hospital room, after just having given birth to this beautiful baby boy named Simon, my dad slipped his baby finger into Simon's mouth and felt his palate, and he looked at me and he said, "He's fine." And I was so relieved. 7 years later, my husband and I are cuddled in Simon's bed, and we had just read him a story. And Simon seemed kind of bummed out, so we asked him what was wrong. And he said that a friend was pretty mean to him that day. And he starts talking about how he doesn't feel like he's a good person. And I said, "Sweetie, you are a good person. We're so proud of you, and we love you so much." And he said, "But I'm not proud, and I don't love myself." And my heart just stops. And I say, "But you're so empathetic, and you're so kind, and you're a great break dancer, and a singer, and a runner." But he was totally not convinced. And then I say to him, "I know that feeling. I know what it feels like to not love yourself. And it really sucks." So there's a line in the song that we're gonna sing for you that still really resonates for me today. And it goes, "I hate the face in the mirror, and that hasn't changed, that hasn't changed." And I really don't want it to resonate for Simon, but what I want him at least to know is that if it does, he's not alone. Thank you.